Hey guys, welcome to Pick Up the Truth. Now, today we're going to take a look at some so-called truthers that claim to offer people the truth when they come to YouTube. But we're going to take a look and see what they're actually offering the people. So let's take a look. Now, on the screen, we have a truther called Conscious X, and he seems to be charging people for this so-called truth he claims to know and pass on to you as credible information. And we're going to see what he has to offer you, and right away we can see that he supports gaming for people to be consumed by. Gaming not only consumes your mind with whatever they want you to believe in, and trust me, they program you a lot of ways in those video games to get you to purchase with the money they enslave you with. And yeah, that's real, guys. I mean, just think, they get us to live by this money because they've stolen our land and our resources that grow on that land. And that land was naturally ours to begin with. And we gave it away along with our natural rights to live on it freely and eat from it freely. It's horrible, the future that we're building for our families. You know, our children, our grandchildren are going to inherit this system of enslavement for themselves and their children. And that's the horrible thing. I mean, we have to really consider why we're seeking truth, and look at the important things, and try to figure it out, not only for us, but the future of our families. So when we decide to drop a lot of money that feeds the system that enslaves all of us, we're just feeding it. We're feeding the system that not only enslaves ourselves in it, but we're feeding the system that is going to enslave our sons and daughters and our grandchildren in the future. And it's a big thing. When you start to learn truth, you have to ask yourself, am I going to be serious about this? And am I going to change so that I'm not mentally and physically controlled by the lies that they program me to believe in? And trust me, it's real. And we're going to take a look at these lies, because these lies are powerful on our minds. And when we refuse to believe that all of this is happening to us, and we just consciously decide to keep being enslaved in this world, I mean, it's sad. It's sad that we're programmed to that point to where we can't see what's really happening to us. But fortunately, there are a few channels on YouTube that help people with the absolute truth of how you're being enslaved physically and mentally on a daily basis. And we're going to go through how we are enslaved in that way in this video as well. So let's continue. Now, in Conscious X, this brother has 10,000 subscribers, so that's 10,000 minds he potentially has the ability to distract away from the truth that will set your mind free from what mentally and physically enslaves you. But instead of helping us do that, he's going to distract our minds with the Hollywood actors that this system that enslaves us physically and mentally wants us to believe in. They bombard us with these Hollywood characters every day, programming our minds day in and day out to believe in these people. And then when these so-called truthers come to show you truth about these Hollywood actors that they want you to believe in, idolize, and become a fan of, not only so we can cycle the money from the many products they program us to desire and spend the money that they enslave us with to keep the cycle going. We have to keep the cycle going that enslaves us so it can be in great shape when our children are old enough to be working slaves, to be consumed by the money that they consumed us with. So that's why it's important to remember never to accept the labels that they put on us. Always remember that you're a natural man or woman, or a natural brother and sister, because I like to think that we're all connected, because we're created from the same energy that created all living things. And no, just because I say somebody's a brother and sister doesn't mean that I'm part of some kind of Masonic group that's trying to program your mind. I'm trying to give you truth here. So whether you want to think of yourself as a man or a woman or a brother or a sister, that's up to you. I like to think that we're independent, but we're family. We stick together, trying to help each other not be enslaved in this world that deceives us on a daily basis, thousands of times. So one way we do this is expose these so-called truthers that are distracting us with these Hollywood idols. And not only distracting us with these Hollywood idols, but consuming our minds, essentially dumbing us down with the things that may or may not be true. Like this brother, he wants to distract our minds with whether Kim Kardashian is Naya Rivera, or Naya Rivera, however you pronounce it. You can see I'm not consumed mentally by these Hollywood idols, because I don't put them above myself. I'm equal to these so-called Hollywood idols because I'm natural. Now, they may choose to live an unnatural life, but they were created naturally just like I was. And they're never going to be above me because I'm never going to allow it. I am natural. They're natural. They were naturally born. And whether they choose to live an unnatural life is a distraction for me to think about. If they choose to be a transgender, that consumes my mind. Mag Bitter Truth wants you to believe that transgender investigation is important to learn truth. It's not. It's just another distraction for your mind to be consumed by these Hollywood idols that want you to put them above yourself. Now, Mag will bombard your mind with never-ending transgender Hollywood idols for your mind to be consumed by, and what that does is dumb your mind down from the real truth of how you're enslaved in this world on a daily basis. And this is one of the ways that these so-called truthers manipulate our minds. They fill our minds with so much of this, with this distraction of maybe this actor is this actor, maybe this actor is this actor. But in reality, it doesn't matter. Because in the end, they want you, the people who control us, want you to be consumed by these people. They want you to be thinking of them all the time. So you don't learn the truth of how they control you, how they control us. Cautious X had 1.9 thousand views on this video, consuming people's minds to talk about this subject in the comments section, their minds being dumbed down and distracted by this subject instead of talking about real truth that may help their families in the future live a more free and live a more free life on the land that was naturally created for them, instead of being enslaved the way we are in this money system, and we feed it. So we have Conscious X with over 10,000 subscribers, potentially being distracted by all of these subjects of Hollywood idol worship that may or may not be true, but you're still consuming your mind with and your memories with their lives that they were scripted to live out in front of you, for you to be able to believe in what they're telling you. In other words, we're being distracted on who's who and not paying attention to what they're telling you, not paying attention to how they're programming you to believe, how they're programming you to consume the articles of clothing they may wear in front of you, or how the jewelry that they want you to be consumed by, or the scripts that they that they play out in front of you to get you to be whoever they want you to be. Those are the real ways that we learn about these people that are trying to program our minds. Instead of being distracted by if they're this person or that person, whether you know it's true or not. It may be true, it may not be true, but still it's a distraction that consumes your memories and dumbs you down. Learn about how they're really programming our minds to be the people they want us to be. Look at their scripts, how they're acting, what they want you to believe in. Everything they push gets our children to be who they are. And it's true. Our children are programmed to be fans of these people. They're programmed to put these people above themselves. They want to be these people. We wanted to be the people we idolized and were programmed to be fans of. You know? It's the way it is. It's the way they control us. It's the way they get us to live the way they want us to live. But we're too busy being distracted on how they act in the movies. You know, all the movies we like to see them in, all the roles, you know, we think they're playing. But actually, these are scripts to program us how to live, how to be. Cam B is another so-called truther that wants us to be consumed by the Hollywood idols that they want us to be fanatics about and be distracted by. I mean, look how many people he gets you to talk about, how many of the Hollywood idols he gets you to be consumed by. And 3,000 viewers viewed this video to be distracted by these idols. And Chris Brown is West Side Gun. He got 3.3 thousand views on that video to consume people's I mean, you might think I'm judging these truthers, these so-called truthers, but I'm being hard on them because it's your mind that they're playing with. It's your mind that they're distracting from the truth that could help you, you know. And it's serious. These things are serious. And if you're serious about looking for truth, then you're going to be serious about what I'm saying and finding the truth that helps you. Fearless TV is another so-called truther with 2.38 thousand subscribers, and also distracts you with the Hollywood idols that they want you to be a fan of and believe in and be consumed and distracted by. And he's also a fan of Mag Bitter Truth. He puts Mag above himself, and he's consumed by the Hollywood transgender videos that Mag puts out for him to be distracted by. So he decides to put out videos of the Hollywood actors you can be consumed and distracted by. These people are dumbing us down, guys. They're dumbing us down with this truth that they claim is this so-called truth that they claim is true. I mean, Mag can't even guarantee us that these so-called Hollywood actors are transgendered, or if they're male to female or female to male. You know, he can't tell us for 100% truth if the people he's talking about is what he's saying they are or not. You can't get truth like that. And it's the same with trying to figure out which Hollywood actor is playing who and who's wearing a mask and who's not. You know? None of that matters. None of that matters. It may help you very little in the truth, in the grand scheme of truth. You know, if you're in a personal situation and you absolutely have to know which actor is really who, because they're affecting your personal life in a real way, you know, which is not going to happen too often. We have to look at the truth of what they're programming our minds to believe in. Each one of these Hollywood actors, each one of these people that you're a fan of and you idolize, they have a script. They have a script to act out on us, to get us to believe and to get us to be like them, to get us to live the way they want us to live, to get us to consume and buy the things they want us to buy, so we can keep spending the money that we're enslaved to make and spend. That's the truth. We are slaves. We are slaves, and we need to stop being slaves. If you can't stop being a slave for yourself, think about your children. Think about your grandchildren, your future. You don't want them to go through the mind control and the slavery that we're going through right now. Now, here is why it's important for any of us to be consumed by the Hollywood idols, or any idols, or anyone that we place above ourselves for that matter, because there's strength in knowing who you naturally are, and not allowing the world or anyone in it to put labels on you. Because once they put labels on you, they take away your natural power, your natural right to what was created for you. And these so-called truthers that are YouTube content creators, they want you to believe in them. People like Fearless TV, Conscious X, and Can Be, they want you to believe in them, and Urban Disciples as well. Even though his channel doesn't seem to have any content, he has over 2,000 subscribers, and he must have wiped the content off his channel. I don't know why. But it's truthers like these you put your belief in, and then they turn around and charge you, to be consumed by these Hollywood idols, be dumbed down by these Hollywood idols. They get you to put these Hollywood idols over yourself, believe in them and what they're selling and what they're saying. And we're going to take a look and how it's so easy to be consumed by the distraction that these so-called truthers are giving to you, because they're not only distracting you with what may or may not be true, they're distracting themselves with the Hollywood idols with what may or may not be true. So let's take a look at a conversation that I've found between these content creators. And we're going to start off. Fearless TV says, "I killed the MC as Tupac, and I will bet it on my kid's life." Same person, 1,000%. He's going to bet this, whether it's true or not. It may be true, it may not be, but he's going to bet his kid's life on that. Instead of turning around and this brother's going to be turning around in 15, however old his child is, maybe 10 or 15 years, however long it takes her to finish the school, the Masonic school that they force our children to go to, so that they can be trained to be lifelong slaves. And in the system they're programmed to work in all their lives until the day they die or retire. But truth may be out by the time the truth of the system that enslaves his daughter may be out, or his children may be out by the time his children enter the workforce. But she may turn around and ask her daddy, how come you didn't stand up for truth? How come you didn't uncover the truth that made me a slave? How come you didn't help free me from that? Because that's what happened to me. I had to place the blame squarely on myself for helping to program my daughter into this world, helping to program my children into this world. You know, I help them to be consumed by the lies that make them the make them the person they want them to be better slaves. And unfortunately, it was too late for me. I didn't see truth. I didn't see the world for how it truly enslaves us until it was too late. But if you have young children, it's not too late for you guys. And then Fearless TV goes on to say, you do, well, I'm sorry. You keep forgetting I'm a big Tupac fan. I know Tupac when I see him, and Akil is definitely him. Stop listening to that liar. He is lying to you, Queen CC. So apparently somebody's lying. But, and there it is right there, guys. I mean, Fearless TV admits he's a big Tupac fan, and being a fanatic of somebody is putting someone, is idolizing somebody and putting them above yourself, giving them the natural power you should have had, you know, to not be manipulated by someone. You know, he puts all his belief into this, and he doesn't even know if it's true or not. And then he teaches it as truth and consumes people's minds with it to distract them from the real world that enslaves them mentally and physically thousands of times every day. So what's more important? You know, knowing the truth about how you're mentally and physically enslaved in this world, or having your mind consumed to be thinking about whether Tupac is a kill. You know, the MC. There's no comparison. I mean, these are the ways they dumb down our minds to the things they want us to be consumed by. And then Cece goes on to say, you know, she's distracted by it as well. She goes on to say, LOL, you are still on a keel? Too short to be Tupac. There is plenty of proof out there that these two people were out at the same time as, you know, rappers, musicians. And Fearless TV goes on to say, celebrities play multiple roles. If he was out during the same time as Pac, then that would mean that Tupac was playing the role of a kill in the early 90s. Simple, which I doubt, because there was no such thing as a Jurassic 5 in the early 90s. And see, these are details that these Hollywood actors get us to be consumed by. You see, we store this information in our memories and we're consumed by it. And now these guys are remembering what they're consumed by and whether it's true or not. And then Queen Cece goes on to say, there are people who still have J5 albums from the 90s. Then Fearless TV goes on to say, yeah, from the late 90s, that's it. And then the Urban Disciples says to Fearless TV, it's obvious you're fake as hell at this point, much like that fake deep voice. For a full year, I've watched you go around trying to convince people of this Akil crap. No one cares. It's your opinion. So move on. No one's even talking about a kill in this video, but you still want to talk about it. What's wrong with you? And then he writes another, the Urban Disciples writes another sentence to paragraph to Fearless. And don't start crying while I'm commenting. You wanted me to comment, posting comments under my thread. You couldn't even make your own comment thread. Now, see, these guys are fighting back and forth whether Tupac's a kill, and all of this distraction that consumes these two, and neither one of them know whether it's true or not. But they fail to see the lies that enslave us, the things that we're enslaved by mentally and physically every day. And then Fearless goes on to say, I got a fake deep voice, really, brother? Now, I'm not going to say what that truly says, because I'm disgusted I'm disgusted with how they get us to think that we're something that we're not. All of these labels, you see that word right there? All of these words they label us with because of our skin color, to get us to divide each other by the races that they invented. They invented these races and programmed us to believe in them, made us believe that we are these races. I'm not. I would be categorized as a white person in their race war, but that's not what I naturally am. I denounce that label. That label does not control who I am. And these are the ways you can take control of yourself. Denounce that label. They label you as black. Fuck that, man. You're a natural man or woman in creation, or natural brother or sister, whichever one you want to consider yourself to be. I'm not a label. I'm not white. I'm not going to accept that label. They want me to believe in it. They want me to make it who I am. Fuck that. I am natural. I'm a natural man. I am who I am. And then he goes on to say, you sound dumb as hell. Ain't shit fake about my voice. I had a deep voice since I was in junior high. You know nothing about me. And there he goes with that word. Labeling. I mean, they get us to believe in these words, right? These Masonic words that they label us with. And that's it. That's the ticket. If we didn't believe in this shit, they couldn't control us in that way, right? That's why racism is so strong. So strong. They get us to believe in this bullshit that they perpetrate on our minds. And then Queen Cece says to Fearless TV, calm down, gentlemen. A woman with sense. It's not that serious, but Fearless, you know good and well that a kill is not Tupac. Now see, she's also distracted by their distraction of the Hollywood actor. They're consumed by. They program each other to be consumed by, or they've been programmed by the system to be consumed by, because we're going to talk about Tupac. Now, a lot of brothers and sisters, a lot of men and women are consumed, and were programmed to be consumed by Tupac. They were programmed to believe in this man. Okay? They were programmed to believe in him. He was a Hollywood idol that consumed and distracted many minds with deception. And we're going to see how. So let's get in. Now, we're going to look at Tupac. And while Magbit of Truth might tell you whether he's a man, or male to female, or female to male, I'm not really going to give a shit about that. And Fearless TV, Conscious X, and Can Be might try to get you to think he's a kill, but I don't give a fuck about that either. But I want to focus on. The delivery system they use to program our children's minds, and that's the music that they get us to believe in, right? After all, they want us to believe in these characters they put up in front of us and get us to idolize and worship, right? And be fanatics over. I mean, this Tupac, I mean, he's not the only one to blame for the programming of thug life and gangster life, and all the shit that's been programmed in our teenagers and children's minds growing up over the centuries. Because right now we're living in the aftermath of what he programmed our children's minds to believe in, and our grandchildren's minds to believe in. And not only that, adults, grandmas, grandpas too. A lot of people put their belief in this brother right here, this man called Tupac. Dead or alive, he cycles more of the money you're a bitch to be enslaved by, man. I mean, that's all it is, right? The more money they can cycle, the more they can ensure that your children and grandchildren are going to be slaves like we are, like you and me are, like we all are, because we're feeding the system. And that's how they can live so nicely off of our backs, because we keep feeding the system. They get us to believe in it. They get us to believe in them. All right. Now, over the years, well, I shouldn't say over the years, but hip-hop came out, and the first two generations weren't so much about programming people's minds into thug life or gangster life or any of that, and those were back in the days when LL Cool J and Dougie Fresh and guys like that were out, just singing about rapping about everyday life, or trying to hook up, stuff like that. But some excuse me, hold on, I'll be right back. The people who wrote these scripted songs for Tupac to get us to believe in, with the thug life and the gangster lifestyle, it's a way they wanted our children to be controlled by. It's who they wanted our children to be, and we're living in the aftermath of that programming for our children. They may have conned us into buying these tracks that programmed our children to be gangsters. And the sad part about it is that there's many moms and dads that lost their children for real in this gangster lifestyle that these so-called idols wanted our children to believe in and want to be like, And it's not just hip-hop. I mean, it's all musics like that. They get us to be programmed by one lie or another, something that's unnatural and not meant for us to be consumed by. They get us to be consumed by it, and they get us to do it, and they get us to buy products, and it's all the same repetitious shit that they get us to do. But we're really living in the aftermath of some sad things. I mean, real moms and dads out there lost children to this bullshit that was programmed in their minds, man. It made them want to be in gangs. It made them want to join them for real, you know. And they wanted to believe in Tupac and the people who script this shit, script these songs for them to rap, you know, and to get for you to believe in the lyrics and everything that they're rapping to you about. It's real to these children who take it in their mind and take it for truth. It's real, you know, because they listen to these lyrics and they start believing in it. And that's the way it was meant for it to be. That's how they get us to be who they want us to be, and it's terrible because this has already happened. These lyrics have already done the damage to the children that it was meant to do the damage to. And that's all of us, no matter what race we are. I mean, a lot of children, white, black, yellow, Hispanic, I should say Asian, Hispanic. Yeah, I don't want to use colors. I don't even want to use the labels they created for race. We're all men and women. We're all natural brothers and sisters that were created. That's the way I like to think of us anyway, you know. That's where our power comes, you know. Do away with the labels that they get you to divide each other with. That's the power right there. Stop believing in these lyrics that were scripted for us to believe in. That's the power there. That's the way we can stop being controlled and enslaved by the lies that they get us to believe in. Because, I mean, look at the lyrics in this. And they want you to believe that you know, this wasn't just scripted for Tupac to get you to believe in. This was the way he truly, you know, grew up, and this is what he went through, and this was his life. And whether that's true or not, I mean, you're still programming the children to look up to you as a role model because of these disgusting things that you want to program them to be like, you know. And these disgusting things get them killed, or they kill each other over it. I mean, it's not good. Let's get into these lyrics and see what we can see. I mean, right away, Tupac comes out and says, "Kill, kill, 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 kill," you know, kill. I mean, if that's not programming your mind right away with killing people, I don't know what is. I mean, how did we ever think that this was okay to come out and program our children's minds with? I'll never get over. I mean, they're going to tout all day long that it's freedom of speech, and people need to make that decision on their own whether they should, you know, listen to it or not. And I'm sorry, that's bullshit. To be programming people's minds with this, I mean, not only people, but our children. Let's continue. And then verse 1 goes on, raised by thugs, schooled by killers. I learned mathematics from big-time dealers. So how the fuck these love to see a brother? And I'll just say brother because I told you, I don't like these labels that they put on us to get us to divide ourselves racially. I don't, because Now let's get into these lyrics. I mean, raised by thugs, schooled by killers. I mean, that takes the natural way you were meant to be raised away from you, right? That teaches us to look up to thugs and killers with some kind of respect, which we shouldn't be teaching that from the get-go. Don't label yourself as a thug. I mean, you're a natural man or woman, and you weren't naturally meant to think about killing each other. Now, continue. I learned mathematics, of course. That's the Masonic numbers that we're enslaved to be consumed by, because it's on the money that controls us, right? And we have to cycle that money. We have to know, how much this is, how much that is, because they teach us to be consumed by these numbers. When actually we should be teaching our children that these numbers are responsible for enslaving us, and they're responsible for controlling us. So let's continue. It goes on to say, pop the Glock, suckers plotting on playing 'cause he's balling. Getting them to respect the money system and be a slave to it, instead of really sitting down and explaining the truth to your child about how the money wasn't meant for us to be consumed by, because it's something that just was meant to control us, so we can be enslaved with it. And then they also program you to have the desire to own a gun that the people who enslave us manufacture on a mass level, and they program us to want, because it's cool to have a gun. It's in these songs that they want me to believe in. And here you go, you got that gun, now you're plotting on a player because he's balling. He's consumed, with the money he's enslaved to be consumed by. And they program that in this song too. And it goes on to say, up early in the morning, 4 deep, creeping in my Jeep. Brothers, real thugs don't sleep. There you go. Promoting the gangster lifestyle, calling yourself, with the labels of the thugs and the racial labels. Instead of teaching us, what we really are, and not to be controlled by this racism any longer. How come we just can't all say, hey, we're natural men and women? That's the way, let's think of each other that way. I know we're different shades, but that's not colors. The colors is something they control us with, right? Fuck that shit. Why be controlled by somebody else's thoughts when that shit wasn't natural to begin with? It's somebody's idea of what we are. Why we gotta take it? Why we gotta run with it? Why we gotta let it consume us? Fuck. I ain't white. You label me as white. You teach me that I'm white my whole fucking life. What? I can't just tell you you're full of shit and say, quit trying to consume me with that crap? No, man. I'm saying right now, I take back who I am naturally. and I reject what you're giving me that's unnatural. Just like these lyrics. You know, they go on, you'll never kill a real G. I mean, programming you to be something you're not, naturally. That's what they're doing. That's what this is all about. This whole song, programming you to be what you are not. You know, you are natural, and they're programming you to be unnatural. Because none of this shit exists in nature. What they're programming your mind, what they're programming your children's mind. I mean, that's more important, right? I mean, because it's the children that consume this. It's the children that want to be this. It's the children that live for this. You know, and not all. There are some that are going to realize that this is bullshit. This is just crap that programs your mind. Just like we did when we listened to music. You know, but we were consumed by a lot of things back in our days as well. And Tupac's not the only one who came out with these gangster lyrics. I mean, NWA came out with gangster lyrics before Tupac did. I mean, you got who's in NWA? That's Ice Cube, Dr. Dre. What's the other cat's name? No matter, but Eazy-E. I think it's Eazy-E, yeah. But those three cats came out with the group NWA that programmed people in the gangster lifestyle before Tupac, I think. I'm not sure about that, but I think they came out before. But that just shows you there's an effort to program our children with this gangster lifestyle, and it just keeps going from generation to generation to generation, still consuming our children with it, still to this day. And it's not a good lifestyle that our children should be living by, you know? Turn to a killer on my 21st birthday, program them with this scripted lyrics to be that way? Come on, man. Killing other kids, too? There's real moms and dads suffering out there that have already, you know, I mean, they've already went through the mourning process of losing their children because of this kind of shit. They've already buried them, and it's been centuries ago. And I bet you their hearts are still aching because they lost their children so young to this kind of stuff. That's real truth, you know? How come we're not thinking about this instead of being distracted on who are these, who's who in these motherfucking Hollywood idols? Or whether these motherfuckers are male to female or female to male. What does that fucking matter when our children, our real children, are being consumed by this to kill each other? That's real. These truthers that charge you money for the bullshit to be distracted by on their channel, are they telling you this? Are they telling you this? No. You know, and it goes on. Keeps going on. And born in the ghetto as a street thug. And this is the chorus, the hook, you know. This is how they program your mind, in the repetitious programming with that chorus that gets you to sing over and over again. Born in the ghetto, they want you to think that your neighborhood, you know, where your family and friends are at, where you're meant to cherish and respect and but they get you to call it a ghetto, man, which is which is a way they program your mind not to think of it as a home, not to think of it as your neighborhood, not to say, hey, this is where my friends and family live. This is the neighborhood I respect because this is me. This is where I'm at. But no. They get you to think of it as a ghetto. Something less than, you know? That's bullshit. And they get you to think of yourself as a street thug instead of a natural man or woman. Or a natural boy or girl. You know? More programming for your mind. And then they get you to label yourself as a cop killer. You know? Thug life. I don't know, man. And then here we go. They promote, I was wondering when it was going to come up, they're promoting you to drink gin, hit chronic, that's meth, run with a wild bunch, thinking of dead brothers that they knew that died young, and there you go. That's the programming of getting these young brothers and sisters to kill each other in this gangster lifestyle. And then getting them to wonder if there's a heaven. I mean, that's all the religious programming too in there for you. These children of ours, they have no chance if their minds are being programmed to believe in this stuff. This is really horrible stuff that our children had already listened to. I mean, we're living in the aftermath of all these lyrics already. And this is the stuff we need to be talking about. Stop it from happening. No matter who we are. We can't be consumed by this shit that they want to label as free speech. This stuff has already done damage to us. It's already fucked us up on a mass scale in multiple ways. Wow. And we still idolize these musicians that want to live off our backs with this horrible shit that they program in our children's minds. And in our minds as well, because I know plenty of. I mean, this brother gets a lot of people, young, old, multiracial, no matter. And hip hop does that as well. I mean, no matter who it is bringing it to you, it's become quite popular in the genre to program your mind. But we have to take a look at it and see what they're programming. We have to look at what it really has done to us. I mean, these lyrics came out in the 90s. And we're already in 2020. That's a lot of people these lyrics have already programmed, and plenty of people are programmed to believe in and live by. We can't. It's time to live for truth. Guys, take care.